And back to the key topic, which is the art of making unpopular decisions with confidence. So, how do you do this? I think number one key point is you are going to have to be okay that people will not understand the choices you make. This means that well-meaning friends and family may even discourage you, dissuade you, and you can appreciate their care and concern. Most of the time that comes from a genuine place, but you have to realize that many times they are sharing these concerns with you because of their own fears, right? So you just have to bear that in mind. Number two, you have to be willing that the path, very likely, I would also say 100% stem chop confirm or whatever that term is that it's not going to look like what you anticipate. So you're going to have to be, at the back of your mind, be ready to accept failure and rejection and understand that these are simply redirections and it's just lessons, right? There's no such thing as a wrong move. You have to be adaptable. You have to be willing to make sacrifices and you have to be willing to learn. And I would suggest that make a list of what you prioritize. That is very important. I hear many times, no time, no money, I can't do it, I don't know how to do it. Most of the times these are excuses because of a lack of priority. For me, what did this look like when I was 26 and I started my own business? At that time, we had 4 co-founders for the Butter Factory, but only 2 of us were doing it full-time, so we had to wear multiple hats. For me, I took on the role of basic accounting and HR. So I remember asking my friend who studied accountancy to give me a crash course. So I had to learn basic accounting. I had to figure out how the payroll works, how to pay people CPF, things that I honestly dislike doing. But it's part of that sacrifice and part of that willingness to learn something new, right? In recent years, making my list of priority, what I prioritize has become the spaciousness of a slow life so that I can really focus on my inner work, on my healing. So that means my sacrifice becomes I give up on expensive restaurants. I don't shop. Actually, many years I stopped doing nails, expensive skincare. But the skincare part is because I am lazy also. But instead, I prioritize investing in causes, in therapy, in things that contribute to my inner work, to my healing, and also in exercise classes, right? The next point is you have to be able to live a life that is different from majority of others, regardless of approval. This means you can't get too attached to either criticisms or compliments. I have experience being on both ends. So when I enjoyed the success in my mid-20s to 30s with the Butter Factory, I think many people back then saw my life as very glamorous and aspired towards it. I was invited to events, to parties, doing media interviews and all that stuff, right? In recent years, it's the complete opposite because the path less traveled, that unpopular decision led to a very different unfolding, which is one of solitude and a very inward journey with nothing yet to show externally. So if I cannot do this regardless of approval, then it's really going to stop me midway, right? So while I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's something I had to work through. So this is something that you will need to be prepared to embrace, right? And the next one is to be able to say yes, take the first step, and allow the universe to show you the way. One common situation which I believe most people are entertaining is that, should I leave my stable corporate job to pursue my passion, right? And there are a few ways to do it. There's one way, which is you have a goal in mind, you save up for it, and you take the plunge after you achieve that amount in savings that you feel you need to feel secure. There's another way to do it, which is you stay in your corporate job and you take courses and skills in the area of your passion on the side, or you start your business on the side while you're also still doing your corporate job. So this will at least take off the pressure of making money immediately. Or the third way you can do this is to jump first and worry later. So I tend to fall in this category 3. because I am not good at multitasking. I'm also someone that is unable to do my best work unless I am really fully passionate or interested in it. And if I want to do something, I also feel like I can't do it to my best ability unless I have 100% focus on it. So you have to be honest with yourself. What works for me may not work for you, right? And the key thing here actually is when I say jump first, worry later, you have to be you have to really be very aware that there's a difference between being mindfully reckless and mindlessly reckless, right? So for me, when I make bold decisions, unpopular decisions, I'm doing so from a space of being mindfully reckless, where I am intentional with the risks that I take. I am aware of the potential consequences. And I am able to embrace the uncertainty because also I have a clear understanding of what my motivations are. So I am actually very present in this decision-making process. However, if you're doing this from a place where you're mindlessly reckless, then it's completely based on impulse, and you may ignore the consequences, the risks, and you lack self-awareness and introspection. So you don't even understand, you don't have a clear understanding of what your own motivations and values are. And it's very dangerous then if you're making an unpopular decision in that space of being mindlessly reckless, right? So you want to say yes and jump first from a place where you are being mindfully reckless. And someone who is mindfully reckless has a healthy dose of ignorance and optimism. I always used to say that if I had known how difficult it was back then, I probably would have never started the Butter Factory. And likewise, if I had known how tough it was going to be with my recent, with leaving my job in 2019, I probably would not have done it either, right? So sometimes it's good to have the healthy dose of ignorance, and then you commit to it. One thing that helps is to maybe reflect also whether are you my glass is half full or my glass is half empty person. So if you're someone that sees your glass as half empty, then I would encourage you first to become curious about why is this so, and to invest time in your inner work to heal this aspect so that you are able to gain confidence in making unpopular decisions. And lastly, really, this is really the biggest hindrance, is that when people start to overthink and overanalyze. When you make an unpopular decision, it usually is because there is a desire that stems from your heart. So when you try to rely on your mind to make that decision, so instead you will never be able to do it with confidence. It leads to confusion, right? So there you have it. This is personally what I've learned in my time, in my lifespan of always having tended to veer into the path less traveled. And I'm going to summarize it for everyone. The art of making unpopular decisions with confidence comes from 1, acceptance that you will not be understood by many people. 2, when others discourage or dissuade you, it stems from their own fears, and their fears do not belong to you. 3, be willing to accept that the path is never going to look like what you anticipate, and most likely also not going to unfold in the timeline you anticipate. 4, you have to be adaptable, willing to learn, and be willing to make sacrifices. And that's why it is very important that you know your priorities. 5, you are able to live a life that is different to others regardless of approval. 6, unpopular decisions are best made from a space of being mindfully reckless with a healthy dose of ignorance and optimism. And lastly, do not rely on your mind to make a decision that comes from your heart. So don't overthink it, don't overthink it, don't overanalyze. That's it. So I hope that has been helpful in some way. And if it has inspired you to start making unpopular decisions, I would love to hear what are the unpopular decisions that you're going to make or that you have made. So thank you, that's it from me. And if you have anything else that you guys might want to hear about, please feel free to drop me a message, or if there are any questions here, you also feel free to drop a message here. Otherwise, I will sign out. This is just a short one because I feel like it's a topic that many of us entertain but never end up going through with because of the last point, which is the mind gets involved and you overthink and overanalyze. All right, okay. Thank you for joining me. See you on the next live, and I welcome any suggested topics that you might be interested in.